Hello everybody and welcome back to New York Hojack Transportation. We are back on Railroader and we are taking a look at more mods today. However, this one is going to be just a little bit different than usual, as instead of taking a look at one singular mod, today's focus is going to be on Root of the Whippet and all of the mods that he has made for Railroader. There are a couple that we're not going to cover, mostly just some older repaint mods. But we're going to cover all of his standalone rolling stock today, all of the meshes and models that he has made over time. There is a lot of great stuff going on here, so let's get right into it. We are going to take a look at each individual type of car, and then we're going to do a quick run by just to kind of show off all the variants of all of the different types of cars. I figure that's probably the most timely way to do this, look at everything and also take in all of the fine details on these cars. So the first one we are looking at is the Pullman Standard PS2 covered hopper. Two versions of this car. This is the 2-bay version. You can see some nice detail all the way around this car. This is of course the data-only version. Nice hatches on the roof and hoppers on the bottom. Got some nice detail going on down there. This end is a bit more plain, while this end has all of your brake detail, the brake cylinder down there, handbrake here, and an air reservoir in there as well. Still looking at the PS2, this is the 3-bay version of the Pullman Standard covered hopper. On this end, same brake rigging detail we have on the 2-bay. This end, plain like the 2-bay. Most freight cars only have one handbrake. You've got the same detail going on the roof and on the bottom there with the hoppers. These cars are very nice looking. I particularly like the black. This just happened to spawn in this way, but it is quite nice. Taking a look at some gondolas here, we have the Norfolk and Western class GU Gondola. This has dreadnought ends, as they're called. Of course, the data-only version. These are very nice cars. You've got rivet detail. These rivets are three-dimensional, and that is true for pretty much all of his stock. And you have your dreadnought ribbed ends there on each end of the car. Got some rust detail inside, so the car does look like it's been heavily used. I really like that. And these gondolas are kind of unique because they have this almost like a bulkhead sticking up on each end. I always thought those looked kind of cool. And your handbrake is at the one end as well. There is a second variant to these gondolas as well. This is the flat end car. So you can see this car on the left here has the dreadnought ribbed end going on. And the end of this car is quite flat. There's still some detail going on, but you don't have that ribbing going on this version of the car. We're now looking at the USRA Bethlehem Steel 42-foot flat cars. These cars are pretty cool, and I have some of these in maintenance of way service on the Hojack. These are your typical flat cars. They have a handbrake at one end. You've got all of your data stenciling going on the side with your reporting mark and road number. And you also have this very nice wood texture going across the top. And these boards are actually all separate. So you have your little curved ends there on each board. And it gives it this nice 3D look. This is a very nice looking car. While we are looking at the Bethlehem flat cars, I also want to point out that there are a couple of custom loads on these cars. First off, nice number right there. This is of course the Northern Pacific version. We've got rails on this car. This is the rails load, so when you're doing your milestones, if you're using these, you will actually have rails coming in, and it looks really cool. Looking at the New York Central car here, I have dimensional lumber loaded on this. Road to the Future, my favorite, of course. Dimensional lumber is great. You'll see these coming into the Whittier sawmill. Very nice looking load. You can see that, similar to the rails, these stakes are being used here. Very nice looking load, and these boards are all individual too. Looking at the Père Marquette version of the car, I have this loaded up with building supplies. Building supplies on these cars will give you these crates, so you have a custom crate load on these. They are strapped in and they look rather nice. You also have these boards here to keep the crates elevated so they don't get soaked on the bottom if it rains. Very nice little touch of detail on these. The Southern Pacific version has probably my favorite load of all of these just because it looks so cool going down the track. This is a machine parts load. May not make a lot of sense in the grand scheme of things, but the way the game works, Ella Farm Supplies does not take flat cars. So you can't have these be a Farm Supplies load and have them get delivered to Ella by default. You'd have to have a separate mod that allows Ella to take in flat cars to do that. Just being a rolling stock mod, but also wanting to have the tractor loads be prevalent in your game, these have been set to be machine parts. Why machine parts? Because machine parts can be ordered to your house tracks around the map on flat cars. So these will occasionally spawn at your interchange, not very often, but they will, and these will be going to house tracks around your map. So you can kind of think of it like you're delivering tractors to all of your local farmers along the railroad. It makes it a nice rare load, just because it's so cool. And it's one of those things where when you do see it pop up at interchange, you get excited. It's like, oh, look at this, we're hauling tractors today. That's not normal. That's not every day. That's awesome. Love these tractors. We are now going to look at the USRA single sheath boxcar. Two versions of this to look at. We're going to start with what's considered the 555. I'll explain that in a second. Of course, as usual, the data-only version. This is in a nice green color. It's one of the default colors, but I really like that. It looks great, and it's kind of green I would probably just keep and use on the Hojack if I rostered some of these myself. Door does open. You've got a nice basic interior in there. And you've got your handbrake on the one end, and you've got ladders going up to that, and ladders going up on this end as well. The 555 refers to these ribs going down the side. 5, 5, and 5. 3 sets of 5 ribs on the end. This version of the car is the 7-8 car, so you have 7 and 8 ribs going down the side in sets as such. Nice detail on the roofs here, the wood boards up there. And you've got your bolt going through the wood boards. Looks very nice up here. This is a very nice looking car. For any great northern foamers out there, this is definitely the car for you and for your railroad. This is the data-only version of the Great Northern 40-foot truss rod boxcar. Again, two versions of this car. We're going to look at the Murphy ends version first. We've got all of your data stenciled on the side in your reporting mark and road number. Similar interior detail to the last car with opening doors. And you've got your two ends here. The ends of these cars are black, and it makes it look pretty interesting. You have your Murphy ends on these. So that is your ribbing going down the end of the car. Here we have the other version of the truss rod boxcar. This is the wood ends version. So with the Murphy ends, you have the steel ribbing going down the car, and the wood ends, you just have this wood grain that goes around the end and continues to the other side of the car. Other than that, the rest of the details are pretty much the same between the two versions. I find this one particularly fun. This is the USRA 55-ton 2-bay open hopper. So these are coal hoppers, and you can also use them for ore service as well. Data-only version, you've got all of your stencils going on along the side, and you've got nice detailing around both ends. That's the planer end, and then this is the end with the air brake detail going on in there, and the handbrake up top. Nice texture inside, makes the car look like it's been used, and it's not brand new out of the factory inside. I always like that little touch of detail. I like these cars because it makes your Robinson trains look really interesting. Okay, now we have a very interesting car. This one is really cool. This is the USRA 46-foot Gondola. And this is actually in the game as a flat car. And that's because these cars really did not haul bulk loads like aggregates. These were more meant to be strapped into with different loads of sorts. Of course, you have all of your stenciling going on down the side on the data-only version of the car. And what's interesting about these is both ends of the car can fold down, and they are animated as such. You have a nice wood board detail inside, similar to a flat car. Also inside, you have your rivets, and you have all of these tie-down locations where you can strap loads to this car. The idea of dropping the ends of a car like this is that you can have a very long beam, like a big I-beam, and you can load the center of it in this car, drop the ends down, and have it overhang two neighboring cars if it's longer than the length of one rail car. So it's really cool that we have those fully animated and included on this car. While we're at it, I'll show you the custom loads. We have the New York Central Road to the Future, as always, loaded with more rails. Yes, we have a rail load in here as well. I believe it's the same load on the normal flat cars, but it still looks and fits great in here. It might be a different rail mesh that I'm not exactly sure. Regardless, it still looks fantastic in there. In the P&LE, another road of the New York Central system, you have building supplies. And if you have a car loaded with building supplies, you will get an I-beam load. Look at this. These look really cool. I really like that. And look at the detail on this crate that's holding them. You've got all of these long bolts and nuts holding them together. And that's just such a cool looking load in here. If I drop the end down here, you can kind of see a lot better the ends of all of these I-beams, how they're stacked in there. That's really cool looking. So that's building supplies if you're hauling any of that around the railroad. Over here on another New York Central variant of the car, we have dimensional lumber. This is definitely a different lumber load than you have on the Bethlehem flat car. Look at that. You've got essentially five, if I'm doing my math right, of course, different stacks of lumber going on here. And this one in the middle, kind of supported by the other stacks, is really, really interesting. It looks kind of janky, but I love it. All these boards are individual. It looks really, really cool with this load. So this is dimensional lumber. This, similar to the flat car, is the kind of thing that you could see going into the Whittier sawmill, because again, this is listed as a flat car, so this will spawn for flat car things to happen. And we have the pigtails. I'm sorry, it was the next one in line. I was going to change the order, but it just wasn't worth it. Anyway, we have the pigtails here with the custom crate load. This is specifically maintenance of way machinery, so if you are hauling maintenance of way machinery anywhere, you will get these custom crates. And you can also see that the crates are actually strapped to the tie downs. That is a really cool small touch of detail. You would never see that. Like right here, flying over the car, you can't see that. Standing on the ground next to the car, you can't see that. But that attention to detail is just awesome, and I absolutely love it. So this has 4 variants of loads, just like the flat cars do. Unlike those gondolas, these ones are actually Aggregate's gondolas. These are AAR 41-foot gondolas. This is a kind of car body that I personally prefer on an Aggregate gondola. I think these look really cool. They're just boxy and kind of standard, but I don't know. I really like the look of these cars. This is, of course, the data-only version. You've got your stencils going down along the side of the car. These don't have the drop ends like the other ones do, because these are meant for your gondola-style loads, not more or less glorified flat cars. Handbrake on the one end, and then your kind of just normal ribbed detailing on the other end of the car. The final car we're looking at today are the PS1 40-foot box cars, and boy, is there a lot to cover. Lots of different variations of the PS1s. Whippet must be a boxcar foamer or something. It's okay, I like boxcars too. I think they look really cool. Data-only version, or at least one of them, we're going to look at a whole bunch here. You've got all of your stenciling along the side, as per usual, your road number and reporting mark there, and your ribbing going down both ends of the car, handbrake detail on this end, and you've got nice air brake detail going along the bottom. These cars also have custom trucks. Look at this. Custom trucks on these cars. Those look pretty cool. Oh, there's even a little stamp there. Look at that. That's really cool. Those are nice looking trucks. So I'm going to go to the shady side of the track. I don't generally like to do that for the videos, but there's a lot of trees and power lines where I parked these. I don't feel like moving the entire train up into the yard. It's okay. We'll still be able to get a general idea going on here. So we have a whole bunch of different door and body variations of these cars, mostly door variations. The first one here is the 6-foot, 5-plank superior door. They do all open. They have nice animations there. I'm going to assume that the P in 5P means plank. So hopefully when I say 5-plank, that's correct. If not, I'm sure somebody in the comments will yell at me. But that's what I'm going to say today. So that's the 5-plank, 6-foot superior door. This is a Youngstown door, 6 foot, same as the Superior in width. You've got your ribbing going down the Youngstown door there, and there's your opening animation on that. The next car down is pretty much the same, your 6-foot Youngstown door. The difference is, most of these cars have welded side panels, where this car has riveted side panels. And the rivets are all, if I can get in nice and close here, these are all 3D rivets. They're not just textured on. Moving on down the line, we have a 7-plank Superior door. This is still 6 foot wide, but you now have 7 planks going down the length of the door. Moving along, you can see the Superior door 7-foot version. So again, we've got the 5-plank, but you've got 7-foot width on this door, so it's a little bit wider. Moving right along, the 7-foot Youngstown door. Same as the one earlier, except it's a bit wider. This one is slightly unique. This is an 8-foot door, so it's even wider yet. This is a PS door. I'm assuming that just means the Pullman standard door. Then you have the 8-foot Superior door, so it's the widest Superior door boxcar. And then finally we have the 8-foot wide Youngstown door. So the same ribbed door going down there, but it is 8 foot wide. And finally, spawned way down here at the end of the Whippet Express, we have one last version of the PS1. I just spawned these in order that they came on the list, on the spawner, and this data-only version wasn't with the rest of them. Pretty neat little thing here. This is a double-door car ordered specifically by the Northern Pacific Railroad, and it has a plug door and your normal Youngstown door. So if you open them, you can see the Youngstown opens, and then the plug door opens. That animation is absolutely awesome. You get the latches animating, and then the plug door animates, pops out, and opens. That is absolutely awesome. Let's open this side as well. There go your latches. Here comes the plug door, the latch, pulls out, and then opens. That is absolutely awesome. I love watching that. And we close the doors back up, and you can see all the latches also realign. I have noticed that the next time you open these doors, the plug door doesn't do the proper pop out first, then slide. It kind of does it in a linear motion. But either way, it still looks cool, and it still seats where it belongs once it's fully open, so who cares? Not a big deal. It still looks really cool opening. Those are awesome. I could play with this all day. I could literally watch these doors open all afternoon. So as the Whippet Express rolls by here, we're going to take a look at all of the variants of all of the different cars. Of course, the PS2 hopper's coming up first. This is all in the same order that I showed you the cars one by one in. Got the 2 bays first, the 3 bays are coming up in just a moment. The nice thing about Whippet's cars is they are actually more optimized than the default cars. So you can download these mods. They all come with the paint schemes included. The Boxcar PS1 paints are a separate mod from Whippet, along with a couple other authors that made some repaints. But even with all the paints, all the detailing, these cars are more optimized than the default in-game cars. So these are definitely really, really good mods to get. Not only to add variety to your railroad, but possibly, if you have performance issues, you can replace the original cars with these, and you can actually get more performance out of your game. Look at all those sheath box cars rolling by, and there's the Great Northern cars for all the GN foamers as well. And here we go. This is what a normal Robinson coal train looks like nowadays on the Hojack. All this variety going on in the coal hoppers. Coal trains look really cool with all this variety. There's New York Central Road to the Future. That Reading's really cool. The Reading with that red logo there. And there's the drop-in gondolas, all of the New York Central variants, Road to the Future, with all the custom loads up in there. And of course we have the aggregate gondolas. Those look very nice. I really like that body style on those gondolas. That's really nice. And then here we go, we have all of the PS1 boxcars. Now the only paint variants that you're going to see here are from Whippet's add-on mod with these boxcars, because he has Northeast Railroads. But there are a couple of other people who have made boxcar mods, or boxcar skin mods, to go with the PS1 boxcars. And you can always go download those separately if you'd like. Look at that Rutland car coming up. That coloring is really cool. And there you have it. Whippet's giant collection of rolling stock. I do know that there is other stuff coming. He's been looking at some 50-foot PS1 boxcars. He's been looking at several different types of tankers. And eventually we should be seeing some bulkheads and some skeleton cars as well. His goal is to kind of have an entire set of cars that someday you could replace the entire railroad with his stuff if you wanted to, at least as far as rolling stock goes. I would like to thank everybody for watching this edition of a Hojack mod review. This is definitely the biggest one I've done so far, just because of all of the things that Whippet has released. And over time, as he releases more rolling stock, I'm going to come back, revisit, and we're going to take a look at everything else he releases down the road, because there is some really cool stuff coming up. I appreciate everybody hanging around on the Hojack today, and hopefully we get to see everybody again in the future. If there is anything I can do for these videos to help you enjoy them better, please let me know in the comments. I will take all suggestions to heart that I can get. Please subscribe if you want to see more things, and give me suggestions if there's other kinds of videos you'd like to see. Maybe some rail fanning videos on the main Hojack save, perhaps. If anybody would like to see that, please let me know. With that being said, once again, thanks for watching, and take care, and we'll catch you next time somewhere down on the Hojack.